What's up, you guys? Welcome to Fightful. Sean Ross Sapp here with an outline that just has my name on it. But as it turns out, I'm not the only person here on this show. There's also a gentleman named Alex Pawlowski here. I think Alex would like for you to leave a thumbs up on the video and on the episode of The Hump today as well.
Don't be like Shelton Benjamin. Don't do a thumbs middle, turn it to a thumbs down. Do a thumbs up.
Yes, I agree. If you guys want to see what I think is one of the best episodes of The Hump we have ever done, we went 30 minutes over today. We went 90 minutes, and somebody in our Discord said, 90 minutes, including 30 over. Did Tony Khan book this? And I said, well, kind of. You could say that he did.
In an indirect way. Yeah.
We spent 30 minutes answering Death Riders questions, and by God, we want more because we dropped a pretty elaborate report on FightfulSelect.com this evening, the best $5.99 a month in the business. We also have a bunch of stuff on our early access tier, but we will get into some of that news and encourage you, of course, to subscribe to FightfulSelect.com. But if you want to get in your questions or statements, Humper Chats, Super Chats, our dude Luis is going to collect them. And then we will hear from you guys here on YouTube or humperchats.com. Real quick, here are the plugs. Let's get them out of the way. Interviews. Luke Curtis last week. Speedball Mike Bailey with Grapsody this past week. I've got Izzy dropping this weekend. 2024 Fightful Rookie of the Year. David Finley. I said, David, how tired are you of the Hornswoggle jokes and how many of them have you heard? He was incredibly wonderful about those. We've got Steph DeLander talking about her book, Gail Kim's departure, PCO smashing the belt. We have a new Fightful Presents on Sonny Siaki and how he sacrificed his wrestling career to save his brother's life. It is an incredible video that Mike Straw did. And then we also have a look at the first ever wrestling action figures. And if you're a card collector, you'll be into that one. The super rare Poppy wrestling figures. We also got an LJN video coming out this weekend. Again, early access to all this stuff, tier 2 of Fightful Select. But then next week, it's WrestleMania. I looked at our schedule, Alex. Outside of like one Sunday, I'm pretty sure that throughout April, we have like a show every single day, except for maybe two at night. I mean, post shows between NXT and Stand and Deliver, which, listen, whatever. I ain't going to be up for that. That's for damn sure. You're going to make me wake up at the crack of 9 to cover a wrestling show? Nuh-uh. Not you, boy.
I'm the guy.
It'll be him. It'll be him. And Joel Pearl will be in Las Vegas. If you are at Circa Las Vegas, check out all their events from the Chris Van Vliet show that they got there, the Busted Open show. You can rent cabanas. WWE superstars hang out there all the time. Joel Pearl hangs out there, probably more importantly than that. But Circa Mania, the official hotel of Fightful in Las Vegas this week. I got to tour their facilities in January. It was incredible. And we're very proud to be staying there next week. And Joel's going to be sending in interviews that are going to be dropping immediately on Fightful. But by God, we have AEW Dynamite to talk about. And Alex, I talked to you a little bit about the close, the end of Dynasty.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it a few days later?
Not great. I gave him a little rope to figure out like this because I saw some people who were doing a full-on like Zapruder film, like watching back and like, no, you can tell the Bucks were in on this thing the whole time. They were the ones who hired Jon Moxley to take out Bryan Danielson and to make it look like they weren't in charge. They faked shredding all those documents. You can zoom in on the film, and those are just blank pieces of paper they were shredding. And then they left pretending to go on sabbatical while Jon Moxley kept everything going. They were pulling strings behind the scenes.
I still think that should be what gets revealed. I think that somebody should find a shredded document and say,
they tape it back together.
Wait, what?
It's just like the thing they get when you take your car in for servicing. That big piece of paper that has all the stuff on it. Oh, you got your air filter replaced. I was like, okay, conspiracy theorists, I will allow this episode of Dynamite to see if that is what comes out. And right off the bat, basically right after the first match, they were like, nah, just we would like for you not to beat us up is not necessarily we've been the puppet masters behind the scenes the whole time. So it seems to be more like a red herring to well, not a red herring, but like a simple device to get us to a major tag match to All In. Like that's what this was. And I feel like when everybody is saying the Death Riders thing's been going on a little too long, this feels like a good time to like move on past that. And you're like, hold on, what if 3 more months of it? Huh? Can we interest you in 3 more months of it until All In, and not the guy you want to beat Moxley for it right now, but how about a different guy you like? A guy who says bruv. How about that guy? So I don't know. I'm not sure if I love the negotiations being entered into by AEW right now.
Yes. I mean, we can get pretty well right into that. Mox had a cold open promo and he talked about how great the roster is and how he's dominating it. And then he beat Shibata, who, is an all-time great.
Yeah.
And it was fine. I actually enjoyed the chain at the beginning of the match and all that stuff. It is a hell of a match to have on AEW Dynamite. Nothing like out of this world.
Yeah. Mox's promo being basically what he said from the beginning, just belied by everything else between the beginning and now, which is that none of you guys want it bad enough. Show me how bad you want it. I am willing to fight and claw and die for this title. Are you? If you're not going to beat me, which I guess fits into the whole, you've got me in a sleeper hold, so I'm just going to try and gouge your eye out with my thumb. And then I got you in a sleeper hold and I win. Because you weren't willing to do the same back to me to beat me, so I beat you. I guess that makes sense, but I would have liked to see more consistency with that type of storytelling throughout this entire reign.
Yeah. Luis notes that the next AEW show in Cleveland, they could do that because that's where the document was shredded at.
That's funny.
But I mean, I would legitimately love that. Like right now, we'll see how it works out, obviously. So far, ain't great. And Moxley beating Shibata, great win. Great win to have on TV. Shibata is a hell. I mean, let me tell you guys. The night that CM Punk showed up on Survivor Series, I heard from Tony Khan, and he wasn't worried about CM Punk at Survivor Series. Just confirming when I had written about the visa, it's like, yeah, it's a visa issue with Shibata. We really love him. He'll be back. And put over Shibata incredibly. Like that was his concern on that evening.
Yeah.
Was Shibata. And the world knowing that AEW loved Shibata.
Of course. And also this match makes perfect sense. Like Shibata and Hook and Samoa Joe got involved in Death Rider's business. So Moxley wants a shot, wants to beat up Shibata. There you go. That perfect reason for it. And a fun little match I did not think I ever was going to get. Few years ago, like on AEW, we're going to get Shibata versus John Moxley on AEW TV. But we got it tonight. Fun.
So let's get into the promo because that's the heavy talking points related to the storyline that, quite frankly, listen, I ain't got one super chat about Shibata and Moxley or the cold open, but we did over 30 minutes on it today on the Hump and on the Dynasty post show, which I encourage you guys to check out. The Young Bucks come out and Moxley kind of hits the bricks after that. And the Young Bucks say, John Moxley, congratulations, great victory, wonderful world champion, all that. And the Young Bucks sort of explain what they did. And they claim, one, they kept Swerve from winning that title for Hangman, their friend.
They basically make it all about Hangman.
Yes.
We helped you get what you wanted, Hanger, because you're our friend. And so we helped you make sure that Swerve wasn't the champion, which is the only part of this I like because it deepens that storyline between Hangman and Swerve. Because Swerve heard them say this. Like this is just when we're sitting, maybe there could be something between them where they could forgive each other. We got the thing with Hangman later, we'll talk about, and we got the Young Bucks basically saying, "We did it for you, Hangman. We stopped Swerve from being the champion for you," which Swerve is not going to like. I love how it's deepening that storyline the most.
So maybe somebody can help me. Have we seen Tony Khan on AEW TV since he injured his neck? Was he around after that?
I don't think so, because like
within the context of the show, not the post-show pressers.
Right. No,
somebody let me know. Because that's when they took over. That's when they seized control.
He put Daniels, he made Daniels like his proxy.
Yes.
And then that's it. Yeah.
And since then we have witnessed, Hangman do away with Daniels, and somebody says, didn't he drop Darby off once?
Yes, he did.
Lot? There you go.
You're right. He did.
Yeah. Because had he not, it could have kind of been the big reveal. I'm thinking of ways to sort of retcon this, because to me, the best way to approach this isn't the Young Bucks are horrified of the Death Riders, but it is they want plausible deniability for their involvement of ending Bryan Danielson's career, starting a chain reaction of things that on their watch, quote unquote, Christopher Daniels had his career ended, not just in the ring, but as an official as well. Had, spikes through the spine, and again, things that unfold, all that good stuff. But I wonder if they're like going for the plausible deniability route. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. I would like to hope not. I would like to hope there's a satisfying creative element for this. Yeah. Dave Cost says, don't know about you guys, but Young Bucks explanation did nothing for me. Talk me off the proverbial ledge. If you want me to play devil's advocate, that's about as good as I can do.
Right.
That's about as good as I can do.
I mean, it all depends on this. If what you get at All In is Will Ospreay beating Jon Moxley for the world title, and also on that show, you get Swerve and Hangman agreeing to work together to take down the Young Bucks. Is that something you will enjoy? And will you be able to look back on this particular week in April being so frustrated by it and say it was worth it? I mean, I don't know. It's all up to you. It's all up to personal responsibility. But again, I'm not even saying we're definitely getting those things, but that is like a pie in the sky, best case scenario. That's what we're doing.
I mean, the potential card for All In looks incredible. Like, we're talking about Copen Cage against FTR. I'm thinking Mercedes or Athena against Tony Storm, maybe a unification of some sort. Omega and Okada, Swerve and Hangman against the Bucks, maybe, or Swerve versus Hangman, depending on which way they go. Ospreay and Mox, possibly. But listen, if Mox does a match with Ospreay, outside of the Danielson match, I can't think of a great match during this run.
Yeah.
And Ospreay refuses to have anything but great matches. I don't want to see the let's slow it down and have the Bloodline cinema match for this. No, AEW is the Will Ospreay style, and that's okay, because for a long time we didn't get that on national TV. Now, then, after all this, a lot of people wondering, well, why doesn't Omega come out and beat them up? And he was sort of easing his way down the ramp. Now, I don't know if he was planning to have Swerve there or what the case may be, but he had like a couple funny lines and said a whole lot of nothing. He told like a very roundabout story, and then said, well, we know what you were actually shredding. It was the receipts for the chair that faces your master bed. And Val says, wow, Sean, LOL, keep sucking up to AEW. Guess where you are right now, Val? Guess where you are? I'm not on your stream.
No.
Go start your stream. See how many people tune in. Because I don't think it's going to be that many.
You don't have to
go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. Goodbye. Here's what we'll do. We're going to tap this little button. Bing. Bam. You know what drove me nuts? Yesterday, I posted a tweet that said, WWE gave Intercontinental title shots to Bayley and Ivy Nile after losing top contendership matches. Somebody said, why didn't you criticize Kevin Knight for that? All right. You mean when I said, why is this guy getting in the tournament after he lost to the guy that was supposed to be in it? Yeah. But even then, bad example. He's got to win a tournament to get a title shot.
Yeah.
Beyond that. But still, is that not like my biggest pet peeve in all of wrestling? I say it all the time.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts. Drives me nuts. If you're going to be an asshole, at least be constructive. I just encourage you guys. But Dave Koss says it insults the audience and not in a fun heel way. The last encounter was the Bucks kicking Hanger out of the Elite. It's retcon and unfortunate. No, I believe they suspended him from the Elite. I believe that's what they did.
They suspended him from the Elite, and then they brought him back so they could help out, take out Swerve at Blood and Guts. But then he ended up like ruining it for everybody because he didn't want to get in the ring, and they were like, "You have to do it." The whole thing was that they're now trying to say that the entirety of the Blood and Guts match was all about the Young Bucks versus Swerve. They've always hated Swerve. They wanted to. This is all them being petty and trying to get revenge on Swerve for winning Blood and Guts. Swerve had nothing to do with winning Blood and Guts. He and Hangman were beating each other out somewhere else. What happened was Darby Allin threatened to immolate a man so he could get a shot at the TNT title. And then later that same taping, he won a shot at the world title, which he then lost to Mox a month later. Like, it wasn't about the Young Bucks and Swerve by the end of that match. It was entirely about Darby Allin wanting to set a guy on fire.
Omega said a whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing.
But he said, I want to get in the ring and let's fight. Like, which is the most important part. Like, yes.
Okada was on his way out. They're clearly setting up for that at All In. And then we got Swerve coming out, and then everybody hit the bricks. Nobody's trying to mess with Swerve, especially after the other day.
Yep.
Yes. This didn't do anything to instill confidence in me. And again, FightfulSelect.com. I would appreciate it if you guys would subscribe. I know, listen, times are hard for a lot of people, and you might say, by God, I don't need to pay for wrestling news. And I get it. But if you decide that it's worth your while, $5.99. We had a couple of reports today. We had details on our David Finlay interview. We had a Select Answers article. We had a big free post. If you want to, subscribe to our free tier and you'll see our headlines. But we had one on the Dynasty finish. I saw a lot of weird comments. Like, you'd be shocked to learn that. A lot of weird comments.
From the IWC. Weird comments.
About
that doesn't sound like them. That doesn't sound like
really
them.
Out of character. Really out of character. No. I know. But not you guys. You guys are cool. But when Danielson was reported as being backstage, which isn't uncommon, by the way, people were like, I bet it was him. I'm like, guys, you guys think that Bryan Danielson has the final say? If Bryan Danielson had final say on anything, not only would he have not won the world title, he probably wouldn't have won any matches. Like, when he came back and he said, everybody wants to talk about working with young guys, I want to beat everybody. He lied. He loves to lie. Cody Rhodes taught him to lie. He said it. He was trying to put somebody over all the time. The final decision is Tony's, was Tony's, and will be Tony's. Yep. Tony has said to people, if I am framed for a crime, I will book from jail. Like that man is all about the final say, and he has been adamant about it. Like for the last 5 years, and now he is more in the weeds about this situation. I've seen people say Mox must have creative control. Listen, a lot of people have creative input. Mox is not saying, I refuse to put anybody over. That man is as AEW as it gets. Like, what he really says is what he really is behind the scenes. That man bleeds AEW. When CM Punk and the Bucks got into a fight, Moxley passed up on his vacation, signed a new contract, and led a talent meeting saying, forget it. Nobody's ever going to say that we haven't done anything and we haven't main evented here or there or anywhere. He is that. But it wasn't him. Toni made the decision, period. Toni would gladly tell you that, I'm sure. I had never heard of any plan for Swerve Strickland to win that title. I know a lot of people, boy, when they saw our FightfulSelect.com bet online picks, Alex, they said, wait, you reported that Swerve's family is there. Why are you reporting that Mox is your betting pick? I'm like, I got a feeling that tonight's not going to be a good night at all. At all. But I can tell you that internally, AEW has touted, and this comes from FightfulSelect.com, they were touting the DVR plus live quarterly numbers, like increasing throughout this year, and peaking with Cope and Moxley's street fight. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. If you get our Discord, you can ask questions in the Ask SRS anytime you want. And somebody says, can we clarify in the weeds? I thought that meant out of the picture.
No.
It has largely changed in definition because Vince McMahon said it once when the Endeavor sale happened. He's
says,
like, I can't be in the weeds.
I'm not going to get in the weeds. I'm not going to get in the weeds.
Not going to get in the weeds anymore. But in the weeds, in the restaurant business means like overwhelmed.
If you get in the weeds, that means you're down in the dirt with everybody else, like doing stuff, overseeing the day-to-day operations.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, FightfulSelect.com also reported that they're ahead of the Switchblade Jay White and Orange Cassidy injuries that we reported. Also unfortunate to Mark Davis. I had heard discussion of Switchblade turning heel. And based on another thing, listen, I can't officially report, but by God, I can speculate on a podcast. I think there's a chance that they were maybe going to connect Death Riders and Switchblade in some capacity, which I think could have probably breathed a little bit of new life into it for sure. It didn't happen. Instead, we got the Bucks thing, assuming that's what would have happened. But also, Dynasty was supposed to have Brian Cage, Orange Cassidy, and Switchblade on it. They had a lot of changes there. So, an action-packed Fightful Select report there. And unfortunately, we also reported on Twitter that PAC has a legit injury. He and Swerve barely got into it.
He injured his ankle taking a buckle bomb, which I don't think I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Which is that's as much of a fluke as you not. That move it targets the absolute opposite end of the body than where he got hurt.
I have taken a bunch of buckle bombs and I have taken a bunch of regular power bombs. I would much rather take a buckle bomb if the person giving it to you does it right. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's way easier to me, but I see a way higher rate of injury on buckle bombs. Like we've seen Sting, we've seen Balor on the barricade, which that's a little different story. And then this
Balor on the barricades, but Sting, but those were like shoulder and neck injuries, not a leg injury on a buckle bomb. That doesn't make any sense.
Freak injury.
The complete freak injury. Freak injury on PAC, like him deciding, you know what, I can take a pump kick and I can take Swerve's finisher because I have to sit down for it. Because he hopped into the ring like he was Seth Rollins on night 2 of WrestleMania. Like he could not put any weight on that leg. So
what a tough son of a bitch that guy is. My God.
Yeah, that was crazy. They could have just ended the match right then, but they're like, no, I'll take your finisher. I'll do that for you.
Oh man. Hangman then confronts Prince Nana, and Prince Nana goes to apologize to Hangman. And Hangman
first Hangman says, I was not trying to help Swerve. Please don't put it in the papers that I was trying to help Swerve. That's what he does.
Yes.
And then Nana goes to try and apologize.
Oh man.
And Hangman says, no, you don't get to. This broke me. Like
this is good shit, man.
I had a really rough day today. A lot of stuff. Not going to get too into it, but I had 2 uncles die on the same day 2 days ago. They were
my
both
God.
battling cancer. My dad's brother and my
So
mom's
sorry.
brother, both battling cancer on opposite ends of the country, both in hospice, and they both went on the same day. So I'm battling a lot of stuff. And everybody who watches the show knows how much I love the way Hangman does business with this character. And the way he says, no, you don't get to. The thing that I am getting from this is Hangman did the worst thing he's ever done because the guy deserved it. And that is how he's able to go day to day and look his wife and his son in the eyes, because somewhere he has to believe he's still a good dude who did a horrible thing for a reason. But if the guy he did it to is contrite about the thing he was getting revenge for, then that makes him evil. Like, he can't have that about himself. So we would much rather have Swerve still be a piece of crap, still be a guy who hates him, who hates Hangman, because that makes it easier on his conscience.
He badly wants them to be remorseless jerks. He really badly does.
And all he says is, no, you don't get to. And it conveys all of that. Yeah. It conveys everything. He's such a great... The character's amazing, but Hangman plays it so perfect, man. Jeez.
It's in my opinion, top 3 AEW stories of all, probably 5, I would say. MJF Punk, Toni and Mariah, Hangman and Omega, Hangman and Swerve. And I think the 5th spot would be kind of up for debate. I'm interested to hear what our audience thinks of it, what might be the 5th. But like, Hangman is so important to this show. So important to this show. And obviously, we give you condolences, Alex. Hate to hear that about the loss of your...
They're uncles, but I hadn't seen either of them in a very long time. They both distanced themselves from the family. It was kind of a thing where, like, it's too bad. I remember them when I was kids, but I haven't seen them since I was a kid. So it's tough. So it's harder on my mom and dad than it is on me. For sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, I feel like $400,000 could make you feel better, Alex.
Well, $100,000. It's $400,000 split 4 ways. Tony Schiavone seemed to think that each guy was getting $400,000, which I don't think was correct.
With the exception of Speedball Mike Bailey, who has a very favorable exchange rate being from Canada right now. It's probably like $400,000 for him. But listen, we're going to give you guys a $400,000 deal.
Ooh.
Give or take a few $100,000, but it's still a great deal. And it's nordvpn.com/Fightful. Our wonderful partners at nordvpn.com/Fightful have a great deal for you. Get a huge discount and 4 extra months with NordVPN. If you have cable and you're thinking about cutting the cord, you want NordVPN. For the price of 1 month of cable, you get over 2 years of NordVPN. And if you're a big wrestling fan and you're like, man, I got to cut back on some of these services. Can't be having this, and this. You can watch all the WWE content on Netflix and just changing your virtual location. Netflix is incredibly chill about VPNs. They just want your subscription. That's it. And now you are able to do that with nordvpn.com/Fightful. You can watch WrestleMania next weekend. But in addition to that, you can shield your data from snoops and criminals, protect yourself on public Wi-Fi, and it's available on all your devices. In this loft studio area, I have it on my desktop PC, my studio PC, my studio TV, my phone, my router. I feel like there's another thing. Oh, my Surface Pro right over there. Got it on all 6 of those devices, and it works on every operating system. Trust me when I say this. If I can use it, you can use it. I promised myself I would never be that guy that got old and didn't know how to do things, but NordVPN makes it way easier. And if you think, well, I don't even know if I could do it then, they've got 24/7 tech support to help you out. Beyond that, what do you have to lose here? 30-day money-back guarantee. And if you're going to do it, this probably month period is a good opportunity to. I was able to get AEW Dynasty much more affordably by changing my virtual location and ordering it over there. And I'm going to be able to watch that Netflix version of WrestleMania. Interested to see if it differs from the Peacock version. So check it out, guys. NordVPN.com/Fightful. The JR Paul RO says, any update on the VIP section for All In? I have asked about this. I was told that I should get an answer over the next week. I was told that I should get some more details on that. I am actually not going to Vegas next week because, as I mentioned, Joel Pearl is going to Vegas, staying at Circa Las Vegas, which he's very excited about. I'm going to Squared Circle Expo in 2 weeks, but my next flight is All In, and I'm booked right there. I am so excited for that show in a baseball stadium. Did some interviews there.
Cool.
Lots of cool stuff. Reverie's Cool says, imagine putting the best story in the company right now in the main event of your biggest show of the year. Got to get those YouTube numbers, though. Listen, the metrics associated with Moxley is something that they are looking at. But, I mean, obviously he is going to draw numbers on YouTube for almost anything. Right. And that's because he's one of the most famous wrestlers they have in the company. But, I mean, by that same token, Orange Cassidy should be booked at the top of the card all the time because, 7 of the top 10 videos are him. I loved these 8-man tag promos. We had Ospreay, Speedball, Kevin Knight, and Mark Briscoe in a goddamn culvert with graffiti all behind them. I saw Veda Scott say, man, these new Ninja Turtles rule, which I really loved. You have
Ricochet is doing the whole thing for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't, he's just selfish.
He's great.
So good. He's so good.
He's so good at this.
I love that we are in a landscape, Alex, where you can look at Ricky Starks, Ethan Page, Lexis King, and say, Penta, and say, you know what? They're probably better off where they are in WWE than they were in AEW. Miro pretty soon, probably the same thing. You can look at Ricochet, Swerve, Tony Storm, and say, yep, probably better there as well. That this is competition. That's why when I see people acting tribalistic, I'm like, come on now. The option was somebody leaving WWE and going to wrestle Basil Baraka in TNA on Destination America.
No, couldn't do it back then.
It was bad then.
Yeah.
But Mark Briscoe asks what everybody's going to do with their money. Ospreay wants to go to Disneyland. Kevin Knight wants to go to Magic City, which is a strip club for those not informed. We have Speedball Mike Bailey saying he's going to buy some shoes. And Mark Briscoe's going to diversify his portfolio, which, Alex, on this show, I have long been in favor of Mark Briscoe being a secret genius.
Like R-Truth.
Yes.
It's basically, it's your R-Truth pitch, but for Mark Briscoe. Which,
if they ever did a WWE, AEW Supercard, there would be a promo, a debate, a social, political, financial debate.
No, what we need is for somebody with a camera to be looking for somebody, and they accidentally open a door a crack, and it's Mark Briscoe and R-Truth debating the finer points of economics, like they're from Harvard or something, but they don't know they're on camera. And as soon as they see the camera, they're like, "Who's your partner to the
Yes,
like it's basically that thing.
This match was incredible. I love that they put the Beast Mortos in here, but a little element of this that I like.
Yeah,
Mark Briscoe and Kevin Knight get wins because oftentimes on this show, Mark Briscoe is the guy who loses matches, but Kevin Knight, the pivot that they have made as a result of Switchblade being injured, they had him in a win with Ospreay. They had him in an incredible match with Ospreay. And then he wins again on Dynamite. Another situation where it's like, okay, WWE and AEW both had interest in this guy. Looks like he made the right decision for his immediate future. Although I'm not sure that WWE was going to hire him. But
they had to see if you could do forward rolls and arm drags.
How
can we hire you if we don't know how good your flat back bump is?
There was a respected producer in WWE and then another one outside of WWE that was like, they couldn't pop on an MLW or CMLL or New Japan or TNA or AEW or
digital
ROH
files you can download from the internet. I'm pretty sure. Just you can
Yeah.
stream it on YouTube. You can watch his matches on YouTube.
One of the producers, the WWE producer, said, "Listen, I'm going to admit to you, I was not familiar with him, but when you reported that his contract was up, I looked and I was like, oh, he's wrestled everywhere. He's on TV everywhere."
Yeah.
And like I made the comment the other night, I'm like, I'm pretty sure they still got Kushida's number. Like they could just get a reference from him or something. Like,
yep.
Oh man. James Zimmerman says the 8-man tag spot was the humpest thing ever. And AEW Women's Division blog says $100,000 or, according to Dax, a nice dinner for 20.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Our friends at AEW Women's Division blog, who sponsor the Fightful Awards, by the way. But yes,
I do want to investigate Mark Briscoe for some bald on bald crime, because you can't be out here slapping dudes for being bald when you yourself are bald.
Says who?
I mean, I say it as a guy who is bald enough that he has to shave his head to not look like George Costanza. I would never slap another bald man. I wouldn't do it.
You know, listen, not to be insensitive to those of your kind, and maybe I'm a little unqualified to speak on this, but listen, no surprise that it was a bald man doing that. I'm just saying, you open up the Instagram comments.
Yeah, okay.
That's just how they're raised. That's how they act. There's nothing you can do about it. Mm-hmm. That's just in their nature, right? Like, yeah. And I mean, you hate to see bald people living up to stereotypes like that, but it's what happened. Bald people are unreasonable. Yeah, look at Meet Normus. Bald. Bald.
Yeah.
The Hurt Syndicate comes out.
Hold on, I don't remember who it was, but somebody said in the fight in this SGS, the Sour Graps Discord, that they need to figure out a way for Ricochet and Mike Bailey to team up so their tag team name can be Speedballed. And I think it's just too good to not try at least once. If you're gonna do the random drawing tag team tournament thing again that they did with Adam Cole and MJF, one of the random drawing tag teams has to be Speedballed. It's too good. Listen,
I see somebody saying this. I sincerely believe that Simon Miller should make a cameo at Forbidden Door. The crowd would love.
Oh yeah,
love that. Simon Miller is just beloved in the wrestling world.
100%.
Wonderful guy. Wonderful guy. Ricochet is not bald, but he's taller than his hair. Mark Briscoe isn't bald. He's chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. This was a phenomenal match. And they did the spot where they slapped him.
Yes, they
but
did.
Just incredible. Sometimes you got to have absolute humpers. And listen, I will always get behind the idea of wrestlers wrestling for more money.
Yeah, this is the other thing is that so is it? I always thought it was the winners got paid more than the losers. So in this case, they get paid $100,000 more than the losers. The losers still get paid; they just get paid their normal wage for wrestling a match. And my thing is, I mean, every match is a blank $1,000 match or a blank $100 match because the winner gets paid that amount more than the guy who loses.
The winner's purse should be more of a thing in wrestling in general.
Absolutely, for sure.
The Hurt Syndicate celebrates their dynasty win, and MJF comes out. Matty Nice says, AEW has said Pinnacle multiple times these last few weeks, talking about FTR. FTR wants the tag titles. MJF is in an angle with the tag team champs. Pinnacle is coming back soon. I'm calling it. I would be shocked. I don't think they exactly made it a secret. I don't think they were playing nice for a long time. I don't think they were exactly getting along with each other. Maybe I'm misremembering that. But
if they wanted to do business, like MJF recruiting the dudes who used to run with him to try and take out the Hurt Syndicate, makes sense. But like if it's personal issues between the guys, you don't have to work together if you don't want to. But like it would make storyline sense if because we saw that Hammerstone went back to MLW. So like if you know,
he's not signed, by the way. He's not under contract.
Okay, then that's different. So
not under contract. What did you think of this promo?
I think they probably should have had the bottles of champagne or sparkling water already opened. That would have smoothed things out there.
Yeah.
But other than that, once MJF came out and he was taking credit for everything and he was basically being very obvious, if I have you guys as backup, then I'm definitely winning my title back. And I can help you guys win title matches because let's face it, without me, woof, which is a great way to recruit Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
But this is a thing that I pitched with talking with SP3 on the thing. I was like, this is the only way to handle this for me is you do a thing where they put it to a vote. And MJ and MVP says, yes, I would like him in. And the other two guys outvote him. And then MVP says, hey, what do you want me to do, man? This is how we do things in the Hurt Syndicate. We put it to a vote. There's two of them and one of me. I'm sorry. I'd love to do business with you, but I got to be with my guys, which will then just piss off MJF. But it makes sense. And I think they did a really good job of doing it. Obviously, Bobby's voting no. So
Yes.
you get Shelton doing the thumb sideways, but nah. I thought that was good.
Backstage, after Lashley walked out, Shelton did say, he is kind of funny. Shelton did. Lupongi Vice says, bald battle royal. Oh, it's time. Listen, let's run through the possible names. John Moxley.
Yes.
I'm looking at their roster page right now. Claudio. Arya Davari. Brandon Cutler.
Briscoe, he shaves his head. That's good enough.
Briscoe, yeah. Dax Harwood, that's 6.
All you got to do is get Eddie
Eddie's
Kingston,
close, but not really.
He could do
not
it.
really.
But also, Kyle Fletcher can go full. He could full Bickett. You can get Kyle Fletcher to full Bickett. Sure.
Kyle Fletcher, John Silver, Jay Lethal. That's 9 already.
The Butcher.
The Butcher, assuming he's healthy whenever he does that.
Whenever
Nakazawa, is Nakazawa bald, or has he got a little something up there? What's he got?
Wow. I haven't thought about Michael Nakazawa in a very long time.
This can be how you reintroduce Scorpio Sky.
Yes, you could.
Bobby Lashley, obviously.
Yeah.
That's 13 right there.
And Shelton. We said Shelton already, right? So like
Shelton.
Yeah.
Now hear me out. Stokely Hathaway.
Sure. It's a Boulder Royale.
Yeah. Toni or Tomohiro Ishii.
Book it, TK, you coward. It's a Boulder Royale.
As a former bald, Serena Deeb. We could do that.
She's grandfathered in.
Yeah, she's grandfathered in.
She's grandmothered in.
Oh my God.
And Josh Alexander, when they sign him, Josh Alexander's in it. He wins the whole thing.
Listen, I want to see Bryce Remsburg run in and try to win.
But he's got to wear like a Michael Cole singlet and some headgear.
This would have been a phenomenal house show thing right here. Bald versus meat battle royal. I would love a meat battle royal, Tom. I would love that.
Yeah.
Somebody says, great way to debut Stone Cold.
I don't care what it costs. Figure out a way to do it. Do it.
A man would find out and he would be stunning Steve Austin real quick to avoid doing that. Could you imagine?
Yes.
Oh, shit. N. Simmons says, that bald slap spot was amazing. Clearly, Speedball and Ricochet is the next program. Interesting, though, Ospreay and Ricochet barely interacted. Yeah, I think they're saving that for some of the bigger matches that they need to do.
For sure.
But they will sort of revolve around each other. Jordan says, man, PAC, whole PAC is all good, but he was out with injury. This trio's belt seems snake bitten. Wish they could even add Mox if they're losing them soon. Well, they could, and we'll talk about that momentarily.
Sure. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
But yes, they're snake bitten because they book them horribly. Yeah. That's why. Because they split them when they didn't need to split them, and then vacated them when they didn't need to vacate them.
Yeah.
It was pointless.
There was zero reason why you couldn't just have Juice and the Guns defend those titles.
I agree.
No reason why not.
Megan Bain interview. How'd you feel about that one?
I mean, her speaking up for herself because she's tired of Penelope doing it. Penelope and Megan Bayne are definitely the little dog and the big dog from the old Warner Brothers cartoons. What are we doing today, Megan? We gonna beat anybody up, Megan? It feels a lot like that. Her being pissed about losing makes sense. That it's like, you got to do something with her now. That was my big deal. Like, I know absolutely what you do with Megan Bayne when going through everybody and beating Toni Storm, becoming champ. I don't know exactly what you do with her coming off of that loss. If it's just, I'm pissed now and I'm going to have some squash matches, well, okay. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see where that goes. But they did not name an opponent. So her just taking it out on somebody on Saturday, which does give us 3 women's matches on Collision, technically. So that's good. But yeah, we'll just see who that person is that she destroys.
Then we got Kris Statlander versus Thunder Rosa, with Kris Statlander winning the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Really good match, I thought. And honestly, I thought Thunder Rosa stood a pretty good chance of advancing. So this was one of those AEW Dynamite matches, I think, that you need, where you don't know who's going to win. And I thought they set it up appropriately a few weeks ago with Thunder Rosa teaming with Toni Storm and saying, I'm going to be next, coming for that title.
They did a very good job of that. I thought there was, if of the two, without any context, I would say, yeah, either one of them could win this match. But because they focused so much on Thunder Rosa saying, I'm getting that title back, and it felt like they were doing the stat being like, I'm coming for that title too, as a way to like give intrigue more than make her an equal footing, when it's Statlander. She can win any match that she's in. But like I said, like, if you have, I mean, I guess we have to wait and see, but I feel like it's a given at this point that Jamie Hayter will beat Billy Starks. So if you had Thunder Rosa beat Statlander, Thunder Rosa easily could have beaten Jamie Hayter and gone to the final. But now Stat won. Stat versus Jamie Hayter. You could absolutely convince me that either one of those women will win the whole thing if whoever loses between Mercedes and Athena gets involved and stops in the final match because they're pissed off and costs the winner, Mercedes or Athena, that final match. Absolutely, Jamie Hayter or Stat could win the whole thing. But yeah, there's this was really, really good. I thought up until it was over, I thought Thunder Rosa was going to figure out a way to pull it out. But it wasn't like I thought Stat had no chance of winning. I just thought that was the storyline they were going to go with because Texas. But Statlander's amazing. And if you're just going to send us toward Statlander versus Mercedes again, we're going to get that match again, but this time it's for the Owen. Sign me up for that. If that's the way we're going, absolutely.
The lineup for Collision right now, we've got Takeshita versus Brody in the Owen Cup. We got Bowens versus Vanilla Baby. We have Athena versus Harley in the Owen Cup, with the winner going on to face Mercedes next week. Spoiler, it's going to be Athena.
Right, yes.
And it's going to be a major match next week. Jamie versus Billy Starks, which is puzzling in so many ways, because
if we hadn't already seen it, I would be 100% in on it. But
completely.
We just saw it.
Yeah. FTR are speaking. Tom LaValle says Toni on commentary, she's the best at everything. She is so entertaining. She said, the last time I faced Kris Statlander, she drove my head in the mat and I lost 3 inches. She goes, then I met Tony Schiavone and found them.
When she came out and she says, Mr. Tasmaniac, here are your keys. I moved your car. But then she says that what she says, if these two were a tag team, they'd be Thunder Thighs. But Tony Schiavone, if you and I were a tag team, we'd just be tits. Tony couldn't say anything for like 2 straight minutes. She needs to be on commentary for all the matches.
I loved the Philly Rocky intro. I think that should happen in every city major match.
I love
it. But I was trying to think like Double or Nothing Arizona, and I was like, well, Natural Born Killers, and I was like, but Luther is Woody Harrelson. He did some pretty crazy shit in that movie.
Well, I think would be really great if she did a tombstone thing where she did
Yes,
like a shootout with herself. She plays both the villain with a fake mustache and an eye patch and like the white hat sheriff, and they just shoot it from different angles, put it together as a short film and do like a shootout. That'd be so good.
Because listen, buddy, All In Texas is easy. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She steals the belt from Jeff Jarrett. She finally defends it.
There you go.
Let's fucking go. I do hope that they defend the Texas Chainsaw Massacre title on that.
At some point. I mean, if Jeff Jarrett retires without defending it, he has to vacate it, and they've put it up for some kind of battle royal. I have a question. This is probably one of those things that only bothers me and nobody else. Next week, a week from tonight, April 16th, we will know at least one half of the women's final of the Owen, and we won't actually have that match until May 26th. That just feels like you mistimed the tournament.
For sure.
Like, why are we waiting almost 6 weeks from the Final Four to the championship game? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I understand why you want to do that match in Boston at Spring Breakthrough, but I don't know what you do with them during that time. You know what I mean? That's just a thing. Just me.
I mean, yeah, when the hell is Hangman facing the wild card? When's that?
I don't, did they announce that?
Have they announced that yet? Because, again, we will know who the finalist is in one of the tournaments before that first rounder. That being said, I think they're just spreading it out and just all that, which I don't mind. And then they want to build the final as well.
Okay.
Where is Deanna? Well, unfortunately, she was at the LIV or Live golf tournament this past week, but from what I understood, she was a sort of a brand deal thing, but healthy, able to wrestle. We had reported on FightfulSelect.com. There was no plan for a third member of the Vendetta. That was just them trying to create some intrigue and stuff like that. But listen, guys, I'm ready to create some intrigue with our good friends at ketone.com/Fightful. The founders of this product are ex-Stanford engineers who landed a Department of Defense contract for their work. Ketone IQ is high-performance energy, a clean shot of energy with no sugar or caffeine. I have cut my caffeine back significantly over the past month, and ketone was a big reason why I was able to do that. I think I was able to cut it in half from probably the mid to late March to right now, and I still feel good. If you guys watched the hump earlier today, I was full of energy. I went 90 straight minutes. Listen, by midday, some of those shows I'm dragging. I ain't like Alex Pawlowski over here. And that's because I took Ketone IQ. I was dialed in. I felt focused. But if you want caffeine, they recently just launched Ketone IQ plus caffeine, which is 5 grams of ketones plus 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea, and it tastes great. Like I said, before a workout or before a long podcast, I knew today's was going to be a rather long one. I take this stuff. I've tried a lot of different supplements and stuff to focus. I've mentioned having ADHD, and this is something that really has helped me out a lot. They work with some of the best professional athletes, Olympic athletes, and now with you. Save 30% off your first subscription order and receive a free 6-pack of Ketone IQ with ketone.com/Fightful. That's ketone.com/Fightful. Listen, guys. Y'all think I'm lying. I keep them things on me right here. I'm ready to go. I got these by my desk. Good to go.
My goodness.
Goodness indeed. Eyebrows says Bucks brought Hangman back to be in the Owen to win the championship. They tried to recruit Swerve when Hangman didn't want to play ball. Then Hangman finally joined Blood and Guts when Swerve aligned against them. They want the world champ on their side. You know what? One of the better arguments. Well, you know what? It's the only argument I've seen.
It is the only argument I've seen.
By default, it is the best argument I've seen.
Yes.
And he made a little bit of sense of this. I got to shout out Eyebrow there. And thank you for sending a humper chat. In Simmons says, I think Thunder Rosa and AEW has run its course. her look, her personality feel WWE made at this time. She's the perfect woman for the Hispanic fans. I don't disagree with that. It does feel like her popularity has peaked in AEW. I remember once we referred to it as the Thunder Rosa pop because she was so over with the audience, like insanely over.
Yeah.
But you never know what that thing might be. There are times when you probably thought that Drew McIntyre's WWE career had probably reached its peak and then it ascended.
Yep.
My feelings are hunch, not report. Well, one report. They've talked about it combining the international and the continental title. That's one less title. They got rid of the FTW title. That's one less title. They need to already and very quickly combine the trios titles again, get rid of them. In AEW, I think if I had to pick, I would say we are headed towards, it's going to be either Athena or Mercedes, one or the other, winning this tournament, in my opinion. And I think whatever goes there, I think that title gets unified. And I believe it's more likely to be the TBS title than the ROH title because Athena has done a lot of building up for that. With the TBS title, I think they could combine that with the world title and please finally institute women's world tag team title.
Yeah, that would be I was going to say, if you're going to get rid of the TBS title, you got to replace it with something. And the tag titles is the way to go for sure.
And it is a refresher for so many people. As good as Harley Cameron made her TBS title challenge, her playing off of somebody, eventually down the line, she coaxes Mercedes into being her tag team partner, saying, I can be your greatest tag team partner ever. Like, a lot trying to do the Bailey to belly next to Mercedes, stuff like that. I think it'd be way better. Don Callis opens applications for the family. He seemed awfully unhappy with Lance Archer losing recently. He just looked at him in disgust as Lance Archer lost recently. Who do you think joins?
I don't know, but I received a message from Kate, who has instructed me to pitch the former Duke Hudson because that is her favorite, and he is a free agent, and he would look great standing.
Doesn't get this NXT Mark bullshit off my show.
I was just saying, he is 6'5". He would look great. He can cut a promo. He'd be great. Hey, he and Kyle Fletcher would have so much in common. They could talk about Vegemite for hours.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just work out a trade and get Nikita Lyons over here in the Don Callis family immediately. By the way, I think Duke Hudson is doing phenomenal work.
He's doing amazing stuff with the promos and stuff on social media. Like, somebody used to sign him and actually give him microphones and let him do stuff for them on TV.
Yeah.
Honestly, the thing that I was like, there are two guys just recently made their debut in MLW, former WWE people, who I think would be perfect for a Don Callis family. But they're over there on MLW right now with the former Baron Corbin and Dijak would be perfect. Dudes.
Not signed under contracts.
Then I would say put out some feelers because
I saw that team.
I saw those two guys together and I was like, that could just be the tag champs on Raw right now. Right now they could. Like right now. They'd be so good as a new Twin Towers team. Really fun stuff. They could both work. They're big bruising dudes. Like, come on.
I want to give MLW some love here. There is a serious disconnect between online audience and whatever they have attracted, because they are doing good crowds. Denise was sending me stuff. She's like, bro, they filled this place. And something MLW does very wisely that AEW has been doing recently, they promote Lucha Libre locally. And it puts asses in seats. It's very smart to do. You should do that. But MLW has been filling up their buildings. I think almost every show they had last year was sold out. The Battle Riot was fun to watch. It was 40 guys, and I knew who every single one of them was. There wasn't a single person I went, who? Like that. It was a lot of fun. And then when they did the former Baron Corbin, Bishop Dyer, and Dijak, I was like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like even the off the wall bullshit that they do when they're like, well, we're going to put Brock Anderson with CW Anderson. I'm like, that's kind of cute what they're doing there.
Yeah.
Like they're doing pretty good, man. And they bring it back Hammerstone. I like it, man. I really, really dig it. Louise notes that that Blue Panther was super over in MLW. But yeah, Denise had great things to say about the crowd reactions there and all that. But yeah, that is a duo together that I was like, damn, man, like,
yeah,
do not sleep on MLW, guys.
It made so much sense. I'm really angry with WWE for not just going like, oh yeah, obviously, you know what I mean? So
I had a lot of people asking about RVD, who, by the way, showed up in the Battle Riot, and he's okay. He rolled his ankle. They thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was, but ended up not being that bad. But legitimately, that Battle Riot had like Paul London, Atlantis, and Atlantis Jr. Then it would have like MLW mainstays like Hammerstone and Alex Kane. It'd have Bobby Fish, Donovan Dijak, like indie guys that you know of, like Matt Justice and people like Kojima. Shane Haste was in it. It was a good time. It was a decent. Listen, I'm a sucker for a battle royal though. The rest of the card, the lucha triple threat was very good though. But yeah, they're doing some pretty good stuff. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. And you can watch it on YouTube. I know it sounds like an MLW ad, but happy to see them doing good live numbers as well.
Yeah.
Look at what Osprey put on X. Okay.
I guess we'll have to find out.
Let's go right over there.
All right. Okay. All right.
Osprey. Now let's see here.
Okay.
Going over to his page. Booked Disney World and Epic Universe for the summer. Yeah, that's what he said he was going to do, buddy. That's what he said he was going to do, pal. James Stallings. He's a man of his word, buddy. Well, Chris Jericho comes out. He's joined by the Learning Tree. And Big Bill says, if you want to teach me something, teach me something. But if you're going to rant at us and blame us, I'm done. And Jericho goes, well, I'm not saying I'm mad that you didn't help me and you weren't there, but I'm disappointed. And he just says, I'm disappointed 15 times. Just clearly going to be his next thing. You are going to get an article over the next 2 weeks that says Chris Jericho has filed a trademark for I'm disappointed.
Well, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Yep.
It's going to happen. That's just what he does. And he's beating the shit out of everything with a ball bat, which is likely going to be a thing that he just beats the shit out of with ball bats. But Meat Enormous says, apologies to the Baltimoreans for no meet and greet. My back is feeling better. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 since 6 p.m. Alex and I, how long no Jericho? So Alex, he's got a tour coming up, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news for those that don't want to see him. He's only got one Wednesday date there. Now, he has not planned for ROH stuff. They wanted to kind of send him away for that, but
move on from that. Yeah.
Man's got like 8-9 months left on his deal. How'd you feel about this? Were you mad or disappointed?
I mean, he hit a TV with a bat a lot, and I just felt like it was, it was a bit much. But it was funny because when you're swinging a bat with one hand and you have to hold the other microphone to your head, and like after the first couple of disappointeds, like you can drop the mic and actually get a good swing on it. You know what I mean? Get a good, give one of these and then whack, one of those. And then the thing that made me laugh out loud because of how ridiculously unnecessary it was him just scowling and walking with the bat through the backstage area for a long time before he got to the parking lot. And then he hit like some crate with the bat, and then he got in a car and it drove away. And I was like, I don't know what that added to any of this. We already knew he was leaving and that he was angry and that he was hitting things with a bat. You showing it to us again didn't really change our opinion of it one way or the other. So yeah, if he is taking some time off, good. The more the merrier. Honestly, the fact that it still stayed with not a definitive we are no longer in the learning tree. We are Big Bill and Brian. We are Big Bill and Medium Brian, and we are going to be the tag champs. Like I wanted them to fully break up with him, and it did not seem like it. They did yet. So
the Ops, Samoa Joe and Hook, then defeated the Death Riders, Claudio and Yuta. Claudio, we'll talk about the match itself first before we talk about what happened afterwards. Again, this is an optimal situation for Hook, who is continued to be brought along. He's adopting, some of Samoa Joe's in-ring stuff, which I think is really, really great. If you want to sell him as like leaner, more handsome New York's Joe, it's his thing. But I like them doing this. Samoa Joe is the person to be learning with on the fly with. If your dad can't be the one to do it like as you go along, like in the ring, Samoa Joe is like ideal. Moxley tries to get involved and they don't necessarily, it doesn't work out for him. Hook, was it Hook that got the choke out win?
Hook did. Yes, so. All three guys, because Moxley came down to try and help in a spot I think would have been a Pac doing it instead,
probably.
And Shibata came down to counteract Mox, and then Joe got the coquina on Claudio on the outside, and so all three guys were being choked out, but Yuta got choked out by Hook in the middle of the ring.
We end up getting a bit of an attack and a filthy spot that I thought Hook took really, really well. Yeah. Claudio opens the chair, turns it upside down, hits the neutralizer on the top of the chair. And
the crossbar,
Hook is like, so his build is great for wrestling, but like he can fit like within the legs of the chair.
Thank goodness, because if he couldn't, that could have been really, really bad.
Yes, it could have been really bad. Not to say they wouldn't do that on AEW TV because people get hit with spikes.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like physically Hook could probably take it if he wanted to, obviously.
I mean, what I've heard is that he threw up afterwards.
Oh, did he?
People are saying who were at the arena that he threw up afterwards.
Hell yeah. I don't know if he was selling it or what. Either way, whether he was... Is
Hell
he working
yeah.
or shooting, kid? That's
Hell
the
yeah.
interview. Hell, son, you got neutralized into that
God.
chair. You barfed into the ring. Were you working or shooting? Was it work or was it shoot vomit? Thank God that Vince isn't here. He's got to puke. Somebody said he threw up before.
He threw up after the pin.
Somebody said he threw up twice right after the pin. What?
I missed it. I missed that.
Hook rules. This guy rules, man. Listen, I'm about to throw up at the mere thought of me taking that move. So, any update on Hook's contract status? So, listen, this is all hunch assumptions. Don't aggregate this. Somebody says I can TM you guys a pic from the show. Yeah, please do. Please do.
You don't have to DM it to me. I'll take your word for it. I'm not like Sean, who's like, hell yeah, to throw it up.
Moxley's going to cut a promo. Well, we were going to do blood and guts, but somebody already did the guts.
Yeah, there you go.
Wrestle Purist said, wait. I said, don't aggregate this.
Did it right after he choked out Wheeler? I missed that entirely.
I didn't. My God. So the update on Hook's contract status. So there was a report from elsewhere earlier this year that we confirmed, and it was that he had signed with Barry Bloom. And a lot of people say, well, very clearly, Barry Bloom does a lot of AEW deals. Yeah, but a guy that works directly with Barry Bloom does a ton of WWE deals. Like, it is an agency, effectively. Now, here's the thing. Hook had not just signed with Barry Bloom. He'd been with Barry Bloom since last year. I am under the assumption that they have had a new deal for quite a while. That's what I believe. So, yeah. Reverie's Cool says, I'll be so sad when Samoa Joe retires, man. Me too. Me too. By the way, they want the trios title. I don't want any vacating bullshit.
No.
If anything, have the ops get to PAC first or something like that. Or Moxley can defend them.
Moxley can freebird it. He never even has to get in the ring, much less take the pin. Wheeler Yuta's the guy taking the pin anyway, or getting choked out. Like he can absolutely take over. They're a faction with multiple guys in it. The problem that they have with this, the AEW has with this, is that they already had this happen when there was a faction with 4 guys in it, and 3 of them were the trios champs, and one of those 3 guys got injured, and the 4th guy was not allowed to step in and defend it. So now you have to make an exception to that rule that you so stupidly made for that particular situation. So I'm not opposed to that, because anything is better than them just vacating the trios titles. You know?
I could see Moxley doing a thing where he doesn't actually do anything, and it would remind me of of this Undertaker Big Show match from '99, where it was a tag match and Undertaker was scheduled for it. And in his gear, he just walks directly over to commentary and puts a headset on. And then when Big Show loses, he goes, "What the hell?" Like he was shocked. If anybody can find that, it was. I know it was like right. It was like right before Unforgiven. I'm pretty sure. Oh God, I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah. Jesus
Christ. I'm trying to look for it, because I don't think that they actually did it. Or I don't think he actually wrestled. He may have even named it a handicap match, but it was ridiculous. I know he was injured, but any word on when Trent Beretta might be back? Much love to you two and Fightful. Adelia, he had been backstage like a couple times, but I haven't heard an update on him. I know that a lot of people were bummed out by him getting hurt in the company. Yeah. Same with Mark Davis, because he had worked really hard to come back as well. Bucks say Mox can defend those belts. Yeah, they could.
They could absolutely. That could be the reasoning for it. But just please don't vacate them.
AEW Women's Division blog brought up the fact that a fan told Chris Jericho to suck on a maple leaf. Which, interesting.
That is true.
The Undisputed Kingdom are now the Paragon also, just because the Kingdom was never planned for this team and have not been on TV since they came out and celebrated, which I don't think they were supposed to do with Undisputed. So cool. They got a new name, because I'm pretty sure if they would just call themselves Undisputed, they would probably get sued. Swaron Singh says, following up on my super chat, from the Hump, but for Alex, recommendations for best pay-per-views from WWE, excluding WrestleMania, because he just got Netflix in India, and wants to watch it. Do you have any that jump off the page to you?
God, man.
Or you look at and you go, you know what? While you consider some, I will encourage everybody, leave a thumbs up on this video. You can get your super chat humper chats in, and also next week for WrestleMania, Fightful will have Jeff Hawkins back here with our WrestleMania review.
In India, are the NXT takeovers on Netflix? Because all of those, because those are the ones I remember like loving start to finish all the way through. There are a lot of really, really good matches and fun angles with WWE main roster pay-per-views over the years. But as far as like the entirety of the show, I can't really recommend a lot of them, because there's so much weird stuff over the years in the undercards. Like somebody say on SummerSlam 2002, which is a good one. And a lot of the stuff from back in the day when I was watching the turn of the millennium, anything that's got a TLC match on it with the Hardys, Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, those matches, those are the ones I remember sitting on a couch with 3 other dudes with an open pizza box in front of us and just literally jumping to our feet because crazy stuff was going on. Like, that's the kind of thing that I'll always remember watching wrestling when I was younger.
Guys, follow us on TikTok at Fightful.com. Follow us on Instagram at Fightful Online and Facebook at Fightful Online. We have Kate helping out a lot with new social media strategies. We hit 150,000 YouTube subscribers. We have seen a giant jump. Quite frankly, the last 2 months, I've taken a much bigger part in marketing our YouTube, and we have grown rapidly. I want to say thank you all for that. We have added a lot of new different kinds of videos, so check those out. But also, if for some reason you're listening to this and you speak Spanish, which there are bilingual people, we have Fightful Espanol over on Twitter. We have Fightful Select Espanol as well, if you would like to subscribe and get our stories in Espanol. We're considering maybe rolling that into an Espanol Twitter subscription. We'll see. The subscriptions aren't heavy over there, but Luis is doing a really, really great job with that. And we have already broken like 5 stories on Fightful Select Espanol over the last month. So check that out. Alex, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on all the socials media at Alex Sour Graps. You can find me over on Fightful Select. This past Sunday, me and SP3, who was doing it from England, so he had a bird tweeting in the dawn light throughout most of the show outside his window. Me and SP3 had a really fun review of Dynasty. We do Kate and I do Raw reviews over on Mondays. We do I will do a Fightful Select SmackDown watch along of the final hour while reviewing the first 2 hours. It can be a lot of fun to try and get through things as fast as possible so I can do commentary on the last match of the night. Although more often than not, it's actually the last match of the night is actually a talking segment. So it's hard to do commentary through a talking segment. But also over on NXT, we review those on Tuesdays. Kate and I will be reviewing Stand and Deliver whenever that finishes around lunchtime, I think. So we'll be reviewing that. And then we'll be reviewing both nights of WrestleMania over there as well. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun doing stuff at the Sour Grap Show, so come hang out.
Couple other notes. Bet Online AG, our wonderful partners. Listen, I think we had 1 pick that was off. We picked Daniel Garcia, but 5 for 5 on lock picks. And we picked John Moxley, who was very close on odds with Swerve. We are now 25 for 25 in our lock picks, and we head into WrestleMania. And it's not just AEW with the lock picks. I'll give you a good example. Last year, WrestleMania, I had Rey Mysterio as an underdog lock pick. And people said, well, why? How did you know he was going to win? Well, because I had reported, you boys at Fightful Select, that Jason Kelsey was training at the Monster Factory for a WrestleMania spot. Well, that's at Lincoln Financial Field, where he'd played football forever. What had he done a couple months before that? He wore a Rey Mysterio mask partying after the Super Bowl. They ain't going to have that man associated with a loser. Lock pick, my friends.
That's right.
25 of 25 for our lock picks. Check it out.
Wow.
Bet Online AG. Guys, I want to say thank you all so much. Until next time, we're out.